Welcome to the Modern SD. I am Coraline, your host, and this is the podcast where we keep it real about life as an esthetician. Each week, I'll share tips, lessons, and motivations to help you grow your business and thrive in this amazing industry. Whether you're just starting out or looking for a boost, this is your space to get inspired and level up. Let's dive in and get into today's episode. Hey girlies, welcome back for another episode of the Modern SD. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. I've got a topic that I know is going to resonate with a lot of you. We're going to be talking about how everything happens for a reason, either that's personal or business, whatever. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and recently I had that realization again. Now, I know this phrase can feel a little bit cliche sometimes, but I really want to dive into it today, not just as a feel-good mantra, but as a reminder for when things get tough in our businesses or even our lives as well. Whether you're just, starting out or you've been in the industry for years, I'm sure you had moments where things didn't go according to plan, or maybe even where things felt like they were falling apart. You know what I mean? Maybe you had a slow week, a client canceled last minute, or you tried something in your business that didn't work the way you thought it would. But here's the thing, sometimes these moments that seem like setbacks are actually guiding us to something better. Let me break it down for you. So, I'll start by saying this. Nothing in life is linear. It's not all going to go perfectly or according to the timeline. And the sooner you understand that, the better you will just live your life. I had my fair share of setbacks in my journey, and I'm sure I'll still have more setbacks, while starting my business and continuing my business. There were moments where I felt like I was doing everything right, but then things weren't clicking, and I felt discouraged. But with time and a lot of reflection, I realized that these setbacks, quote unquote setbacks, were actually setups, setups for growth, setups for new opportunities, and setups for learning. That's the funny thing about life and, having a business and trying new things. They don't always follow the script we write for them, but that doesn't mean you're not heading in the right direction. Let me give you an example in my own life. When I first opened Revi, I had a vision for what my business would look like, and it wasn't going according to plan. Like before Revi, I had my business name called Aesthetic Allure, and it was mainly for like facial services and stuff like that. But that truly did not align with me. I felt off, and even the name didn't felt like how I wanted it to be. So, that was a time where I was kind of discouraged and really wanted to quit at that point. But, I just had to kind of take myself out of that rut and just, give myself the patience and, reassure myself that, this is just a minor setback. Let's transform this into something else. And that's where Revi came into play. And that's where, specializing in brows came into play as well. I didn't have a massive amount of support when it came to someone guiding me in that sense. I was doing it alone. But, there was a point where I felt like maybe I was doing something wrong. But looking back now, those early struggles were exactly what I needed to go through to get to where I am today. Like literally. Like without those little setbacks, I would not be even recording this podcast today. They taught me patience, resourcefulness, and gave me the time I needed to really connect with myself and understand what I needed to do. Those struggles weren't failures. I don't see them as failures. I definitely see them as lessons that helped me build a stronger foundation for Rivi and my personal brand right now. Sometimes it's hard to see how things are going to work out for the best when you're in the thick of it. It can feel discouraging, but when we allow ourselves the space to reflect, I feel like we start to see how those moments were actually leading us somewhere better. The universe or whatever higher power you believe in is always working in the background. For example, you could think about times where in your business where it made you frustrated. Like, for example, maybe a client canceled on you or something happened, like just a minor setback and you got very frustrated in the moment. But have you ever thought about how that could be a sign that you needed that extra time? Maybe it was, time to rest, or maybe it was to help you kind of take a step back and focus on something else in your business, or, to take a breath and reset. Sometimes what feels like a loss is actually a hidden blessing. And I love that quote so much because I recently had that feeling where, I'll just say I was applying to like different jobs, like part-times, because, I still have to work and kind of put myself out there. But every place I was applying to, it was just not working out. And then recently I found a place where it's exactly what I needed to grow my business, to grow my personal brand, and to really network in my area. And it's crazy how things just work out in that way. Instead of seeing things as failure or setbacks, take a step back and ask yourself, what did you learn from it? Did you learn more about yourself or your business? Did you learn about your own limits and strengths? Every failure is an opportunity to improve and adjust your approach moving forward. And trust me, no one, no matter how successful they look on Instagram or wherever, is immune to this, So I want to challenge you to reframe the way you think about your challenges. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Whether you're dealing with a slow season, a challenging client or business setback, or even something personal in your life that feels like your life is about to end, try to look for the lesson. Everything is happening for a reason, even if we can't immediately see it. And here's the thing, sometimes those reasons might not become clear until years later, because that's also something that happens. Trust me, I've been there and I've seen it. Maybe something didn't make sense at the time, but then down the line, you realize how it all fits together and the dots connect. It's a beautiful thing. Honestly, it's a beautiful thing. It's called life. The universe truly has a funny way of working things out in the most unexpected and perfect way. But But before I wrap up, I want to leave you with this. If you're facing a tough time right now, whether it's in your business or your personal life, take a deep breath and remind yourself that it's all part of the process. You know, your story is still unfolding. You know, you're still young, you're still new to the business world if you are new, or even if you've been owning a business for years, you know, these things still happen. And just know that you're exactly where you need to be. And trust me, you've got this, okay? You got everything you need to get to the next level. I hope today's episode gave you a little bit of peace and perspective. You know, remember, everything happens for a reason, even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. Thank you all for listening to the Modern SD. I hope you feel inspired and ready to keep growing. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend, or leave a review. It helps other SDs or beauty pros find this podcast. Remember, keep going, keep learning, and I'll see you next time. Bye.